Hi, I'm Paula Jean Harrison with the Finter Times, and I'm here at Money 20 with the one and only Scarlett Sieber. Scarlett, hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Polly. Getting to sit with you on day 3 and breathe a little bit, so this is the best thing that can happen for me.
I was going to say, day 3, it's been a jam-packed 2 days. Day 3 feels a little bit chiller, a little bit calmer, but still lots to do. How have you found the conference this year? How's it gone?
It has gone, you spend blood, sweat, and tears to get to this point. It's 3 days, but it's months and months of work to get to this point. I feel so proud. I feel so proud of my team. I feel so proud of our team. We've done incredible stuff, and I love to see how people are reacting, because you never know. You have a vision, and how does it actually come to life? Will people love it? Will people hate it? And it's gone really well. So I'm feeling very good and very proud.
Fantastic. And I mean, I'd love to know, I'm really nosy, what goes into planning a big event like this? Because it's huge, it's massive, 175 pieces of content, hundreds of speakers, thousands of attendees. How do you even start planning something like this?
We have a very, what goes into planning this? You have a very, very experienced, amazing team, almost 100% women, by the way, powerhouse operators and executors who do this for a living. And so every final detail, in fact, in about 2 hours time from now, we're having a chat about making sure we're having the first final details for 2023. We've been having conversations for a few months about 2023 already, but it's now that we're here, we're all together in person, that's looking at each space. Okay, what do we want to change about this? We want to change about that. So that's 12 months to give you an idea. And as I said to you, this is by far not our first conversation about 2023. So there's that. There's a lot of different moving parts. There's adjusting. If you think about it from the show perspective, it's reacting to what's happening. One of our Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll stage came from a conversation where our head of creative, what I call our Wow Factor team, was with our content team in New York back in December, and we were talking about because we have a lot of fintech people on the team now, and we were talking about the impact of some of the more taboo topics and this movement from illegal to legal, cannabis, porn, gambling, and that was the vision that started the Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll Club. So it's really stuff like that all starts coming together, but then it's like, okay, so now we have that vision, what content are we going to put there? Because you have a really cool experience, but if it's just, hey, let's talk about, something very basic, digital banking and partnerships, not that we shouldn't have that conversation, people still need to hear that, not on that stage, just not the right vibe. So it's making sure you have the right content in the right places, which is it's a very skilled thing, and a former colleague of yours, and Gina Clark, is a genius at that, and she really helped. She came quite late to the game, but she really helped take that vision and make it more practical and connect it with all the different stages and everything else. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still a sore spot that you stole Gina from us, but she has been doing a fantastic job, I'm sure, with you guys. And I think, it's been great to see all the different kinds of stages. I think you mentioned the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll stage. I loved going down there. It's such a cool vibe, but also a really sort of intimate session where you're not just staring up at a stage sort of thing, like the person standing like two feet in front of you, and you can really just get involved in what's happening.
And that was exactly the intention of that one, right? So I wanted that to be taboo topics, but also to feel like you and I were sitting here with a cocktail at our hand, because there's so many great things that happen at shows, and at a show like ours, and we always talk about it's the networking, it's the connection, which is true. Yes, you learn a lot and all those things, but it's the after parties, it's the dinners, it's having those things that you didn't hear anywhere else, or talking about what you saw that day, and that's what I wanted to happen at the show itself. How do I take that magic and bring it during the day? And that's what we really thought about when we were kind of creating that, and it worked well. We made sure too that booze helps, so that's the one stage that has alcohol in the morning, and kind of you can live your best life, which is really, really fun.
Absolutely. And has there been any sort of particular sessions or content that you've really enjoyed this year? I know you probably can't pick favorites, but any particular standout moments for you?
It's so funny. Gina and I talk about this all the time. It's like you can't have a favorite child or a favorite thing. I think that the sessions that we planned that Gina, really owned for the exchange were those. Zimpler shared a deck that hasn't been seen anywhere. It's funny because there's people were questioning, the press is such an amazing part of who we are, but even as myself and some of us who do a lot of public speaking, there's so many things that I want to say, but when there's a camera in front of you, you're part of a public company, you can't always say what you want to say. Absolutely. So how do we make sure that like the real stuff gets shared and people feel safe and secure to do so? So we have that stage where there is no media allowed. that phones are asked to be put away and locked. Don't worry, we're not taking them. They're sitting on your lap. It makes it a little bit uncomfortable, but we like that because we're invoking emotion and making you feel something. And with the way that the world is today, outside of the fact that we're in this closed room, typically, even if I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about my email, the thing is pinging in, so I'm not fully focused. We wanted a space that there was an intention. You stay there, and that's what you were doing. So Zimpler shared a great deck there. Spotify had an interesting session. We had a deep dive on BNPL and a few other really fun ones.
Amazing. Yeah, I think I've heard quite a lot about the stage. I'm gutted that I couldn't get to go, being a filthy journalist.
I'm trying. I know.
It's fine. I can live with it. But no, I mean, I've got to ask you about your book, which I very conveniently have here.
Oh.
I know you launched it yesterday at the official launch party. Yes. And I've also been told that I have to ask you to sign it on camera because that would be really cool. So I have a pen,
let's do it. Wow.
For that quality content. So yeah, I mean, tell me more about the book. You launched it last night. I've read it, and we're going to be reviewing it on the FinTech Times. I thought it was fantastic. I'm not saying that just because you're sat next to me, but I really understood what you were trying to say, and it went to someone who has no idea what embedded finance is. It just made so much sense. So tell me more about it.
Yes, I'm trying. It's hard because I want to do something meaningful while also being on camera. So
it was someone else that told me to do this.
It's fine.
So
it's fine. Okay, so yes, interesting journey doing this. It's something that I had been thinking about for some time, and I write articles. That's not easy, but something that I enjoy, and I've had a fair amount of thought about it, and then ended up partnering with a girlfriend of mine, and Sophie Jabot, and we just connected on so many different things. And I think that it's kind of like sometimes can you work with your friends? There's a lot of people who are very dear to me that I could never write a book with, but Sophie and I just have the right vibe, and it kind of worked. And so a lot of my background while I've been in fintech has always been kind of on the strategy and the innovation side, and that has probably a bit more of a broad applicability. Mm-hmm. And Sophie and I, we have regular catch-up calls, and we started talking about this, and embedded finance is so funny because now it's the title of the book, and every session that I've gone to, someone mentions something about that. But the reality is that when we were writing this last year, because we wanted to make sure that it was applicable for the broadest amount of people possible, because in my personal life, people still ask me, what do you do for a living? Like, what is fintech? And just seeing the impact companies like Grab, companies like Shopify with significant, we're talking 50% or more of their revenues coming from fintech and embedded finance, it was like, okay, something is here. This is not a blip. This is the future. And we got some pushback on, you're the right authors, wrong topic, too niche. And we went for it anyways. And now it's just hilarious being here because it's like embedded finance. It's like, no, but we didn't want to be one of the buzzwords. It's just, we had to be, we could have been cuter with the title, but it was like, we wanted to make sure that for people outside of our industry, they get what it means. And so here it is.
And I think that really comes across because, like I say, I'm still learning about this sort of thing. But when I read it, I was like, yes, finally, something makes sense to me, and it really came across as that way. So, no, I'm looking forward to finishing off for sure. And then, so finally, what's next? I'm sure tonight you'll all be having a fantastic drink with the team celebrating another year completed. But obviously, you've got Las Vegas on the way. We speak to Tracy and how you're a year-round operation. What's the future holding? I'm
gonna have, after our team celebration, I'm going to have a private dinner with Tracy, who is just my everything, really decompressing and taking what just happened in. But as you said, we don't sleep. Like, I live in New York. New York City doesn't sleep. Scarlett doesn't sleep. I actually sleep a lot. That's the only thing that grounds me. If I don't get 8 hours, I got a problem. But basically, we're gung-ho and all the way to Vegas while also figuring out plans for Europe next year. We're doing a lot of things too. I know that Gina probably told you about this, but we're doing world tours where we go to different cities. We did London, we did Paris, we did New York, DC. We did the pouch thing too in DC, where people had to put their phones away as a test to make sure it was going to work here, and it worked really well. Actually, DC and the regulators were more open to put their phones in their pouch than the crowd here, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so we're going to go to Tel Aviv, we're going to go to San Francisco, we're going to go to Mexico City. So a lot on the plate. No stopping.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. Get
Absolutely.
out, go out to have some more content.
Yeah.
Awesome.